My guest today is Leona Watson, owner of Cheeky Food Group, a company that uses the fun and interaction of cooking together to provide team building activities across Australia and New Zealand. Leona, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us what Cheeky Food Group does.
I guess we've taken the idea of a cooking class and made it into quite a big event for the corporate market. So a classical cooking class is where people go along just to learn how to cook, but we've taken the idea of that cooking together to create this great atmosphere for people to leave all the usual niggles and things at the door when they come in, and then they just bond, laugh, sizzle, flambe together and create something really sensational they all get to eat then as their reward. So everyone's a winner in this team building, and everyone gets to be part of the success, which is one of the reasons why I think it's been quite successful.
So what happens when you get people who are usually together, probably in an office environment, and they come together and they're cooking? What sort of dynamics occur? What do you see happen?
It's actually really interesting, because sometimes you might get a CEO with a PA, and it's great, it just breaks down all those sort of barriers that are there. And we always get people working in teams, so whilst it might be the most inefficient way to get the cooking done, the whole idea is to get people working in groups of 2 or 3, then depending on the size of the group, it could end up being several hundred. Like we just did one for 550 down in Melbourne, all cooking at the same time, which is a bit of a scene. But the whole idea is that they cook all the food and then they bring it all together to create one big buffet, which they then share. We have a version which is like opening your own restaurant. So they're the chefs, then the wait staff, so they set the table and all these type A personalities trying to figure out how to do that together. And then they get to eat the food as the customers of the restaurant, and that's their reward. So the more fun they have, the better they cook, the better they make their food look like the front page of Vogue, then the better the reward, they get to eat it.
And I suspect with all the cooking shows now that the standard of their own expectation is probably changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's kind of gone up a little bit, but I can honestly say I don't know that the cooking prowess is that like, so everyone knows some key words. You know, like I get a lot of yes chef now, which I didn't used to get. And but they're still needing to learn how to chop an onion and garlic, and still pass me over a capsicum when I ask for an onion sometimes. So
that's funny.
There's still a lot of people learning to need how to cook.
You came to this business with some great sales and marketing experience. How has that helped you grow the business?
I got lucky on that. I guess I was able to take all those skills that I learnt in large corporations and then apply them in the same manner to a smaller sized company with almost no budget, like literally started with $5,000 investment. And it was just about thinking, like, what's a big brand that I would like to create? And there's the same principles of what you do in a larger corporation you do in a smaller. So in a smaller corporation, the person is the brand. It starts with you,
yes,
finishes with you. And then as you get more and more staff, of course, it's then about continuing to engage your own staff in what Cheeky itself stands for. And I think that's been one of the key things in where we'll go as a company, and also what we say no to. It makes it very quite defined, and also in terms of some of the financial skills as well, just because I was in marketing, especially on direct marketing side, where everything is measurable.
Yes.
So I know exactly where all our money from a marketing point of view is spent, what works, what doesn't, what brings us in the highest gross profit margins and blah, blah, blah. So it's very easy then to know what to spend more on and what to just shut down, stop and not try again. Or maybe until a bit later. Always try it again.
What were the surprises? What skills did you suddenly realise, oh, I don't know how to do that and I need to know?
Learning to let go. It was interesting. About 4 years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I got a business coach in, and because I realised that I was a bit of the centre of the universe of Cheeky Food Group, and my was allowing the controlling part of my nature to take over, shall we say, and it wasn't good for the company. And that was a skill, learning how to step back, delegate, and when someone can do it as, you know, within 80% as well as you can, give it to them. They'll figure out the next 20%, and that they'll probably blitz it and go to 120 once it's theirs and they take ownership. That's been a big skill I've had to learn, and also just in terms of some of the money and the financial side of it. You know, it's one thing to be turning over 100,000, but then all of a sudden when you're turning over several million, it then becomes, right, okay, what are the tax planning and all these other kind of things, and that's something. It's a constant learning though. You never stop learning. Like you're just on a ride of learning things also from managing people, managing your staff, really engaging them, which is team building in itself. Like every day is team building day. It's not something you just throw money out every quarter or at Christmas time. So.
I think that's a great point. Because a lot of your clients are large corporates, when the economy fluctuates, I suspect that you have to make your product more relevant to business for them to still spend in an area that might not be seen as essential core training? How do you manage that?
Gee, didn't I learn that through the GFC? Oh, so we took a big hit during that period. Obviously, people were laying off staff. They weren't spending money on keeping them, shall we say, and engaging them. I just went. I actually fell into a little bit of a hole and had to pull myself out and go, okay, I've got to rethink everything. Every little mantra and little golden rule I'd had, basically throw it up in the air. If I was to start this company again differently tomorrow, what would we do differently? Gather the troops and just said, forget all the rules. What can we do differently here? And still keeping within the brand values and not selling ourselves too short. And we come up with some new product ideas. Worked well with a lot of existing clients. Like about 70% of our business is repeat and referral. So it was about going out to them and going, look, what do you really have to play with here? What's going on with the staff? And then just coming up with some, shorter, quicker, lower cost. So you can still keep morale up, and you really need to keep morale up when you've got people being made redundant around them. They're all still worried about their job, and productivity drops, even with the ones who are still left. So it was about getting really creative and just being prepared to throw out some of the old rules that you'd lived and breathed by, and that I used to be really that's how we kind of do it. And I had to get off that train.
And adapt to the new marketplace.
And it's funny because I think the whole business, all of us now, we've all changed in that. So we're all very much more open to new ideas and new concepts. So I think it's been a hard lesson, but a good one.
But a good one.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier you'd had a business coach, and you've been a mentor on the Australian Businesswomen's Network's mentoring program a couple of times. What role has mentoring played in your business life?
Can I say, when I was a mentor with you guys a couple of times there, it was so good just remembering, like the way you split it all up into the different segments, I think is sensational. It just makes it really easy for people to get their heads around and focus. It was amazing just remembering the basics. It's so fun. You can get so caught up in blah, 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 that you just forget some of those really basic things of marketing, the HR, still trying to get a grapple on technology. So from a mentoring point of view, I'm actually on the lookout for a mentor at the moment. Okay. If anyone's out there. Really cool. So I'm looking for one as much as also looking at the whole side of business coaching as well, because I think they're two quite different things.
Yes, absolutely.
And but I think the best thing about mentoring is just always having, once you've got your radar on for one, then I think someone's going to pop up.
Anything you would like to leave us with? You've already given us great lessons and shared those with us. Anything else you'd like to leave us with based on your experience so far?
I think one of the key things is to check yourself before you walk in the door. Now, this is whether you're the business owner or whether you're a brand new PA. So wherever you feel you are in your career, it's kind of irrelevant. But it's amazing what mood or angst or whatever it is that you might bring in with you and your influence on the people around you. Whereas, if someone's having had a fight with your boyfriend, or you just had trouble getting a car parked, and you can kind of come in a bit grumpy, and that can spread like wildfire. Whereas if you just sort of stop yourself and go, do the smile, fake it till you make it, because then it gets really easy. You actually do start to feel happier, and then you just walk in and then everyone just follows you. You actually start to create a great atmosphere for having just a really good day, which means your clients are, your prospects are, your suppliers are. It's amazing how that can really filter out. That would be probably my one learning. The other one would just be really paying attention to your cash.
Right.
And we've talked about this a few times. It's amazing how many people don't pay enough attention. They've got some seriously great business ideas, especially when it's more on the creative side. But it's very easy to start making some wrong business decisions or desperate business decisions because the cash hasn't been paid attention to as much as the business and the creative side of it. And you can rest easy at night knowing you've got a little bit of cash there, and then you can make some good business decisions and you feel just more confident. So don't lose sight of this in line of all of that.
Of all the seemingly fun stuff.
The seemingly fun stuff, yeah. Well, that's probably the reason why you got into the business in the first place, or you're looking at making a career in that area. But yeah, if you're a business owner, never forget that bit.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.